Growth doesn't happen automatically. You being here isn't going to get you anything, right? Nothing happens through osmosis. What happens after you leave here will be determined, and how intentional you are about that is going to determine, whether you get anything from the time and energy that you've invested. So we're going to talk about this in terms of gaps, right? Where we are versus where we want to be or could be. The first step is just realizing that you have a gap. So these are 8 common gaps that people have. The assumption gap, knowledge gap, timing gap, mistake gap, perfection gap, comparison, and expectation gaps. The assumption gap. That's going back to what I said a few minutes ago. That's assuming that by being on a webinar that you're going to grow. You may, but if you do, it's probably a result not of the webinar, but of the actions you take. So what happens if we just rely on automatic growth? What happens if we assume we're going to grow? I'll tell you what happens. Usually nothing. So let's not do that. The knowledge gap. You know, I don't know how to grow. Well, look, we all know when there's something that we want to get better at, learn about, do better at. And then there's actions we can take. And the actions we can take are everything from doing things like this, investing in yourself and being on a webinar that will cause you to think differently or think newly, what you read, who you hang out with, uh, having a coach, having a mentor. In 1996, the day that I learned there was a thing called coaching, I hired one. It's 2025. I still have a coach. I've had a coach since 1996. Oftentimes I've had multiple coaches. So, what can you do? Who can you ask questions for? Who can you ask guidance? Who's the mentor that you have? Who's the go-to person? One of the reason, and this is not a commercial for our team, but one of the reason I know that people are on our team is because they want the support, they want the guidance, they want the mentorship. And that's something that we're very strong in because that's one of my core beliefs. Um, we can keep going. The timing gap. It's not the right time to begin. Well, let me help everyone with this. There's never the right time. There's never the best time. There's never a good time. There's just time. And there's just when are we doing something to be purposeful and be intentional about what it is we want. Um, Here's what I know. The longer we wait for things, the worse things usually get. They usually don't get better, right? Time, for the most part, is not our friend or not on our side. Now, are there examples when it is? Absolutely. But for the most part, we want to move fast. We want to act quick. We want to operate with a sense of urgency. There's an adage. There's results or there's excuses. There's results or there's reasons why. You can't have both. So if you're going to have excuses or reasons, they're going to be at the expense of the results. The mistake gap. I'm afraid of making mistakes. You should be afraid of not making mistakes. If there's no mistakes, there's no growth. If there's no mistakes, there's proof that you're not pushing or striving or stretching to be better, right? If you're not making mistakes on a daily basis, then you really want to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I doing all I could be doing? I've made more mistakes. I've probably made more mistakes in a month than many people make in a year. I've made more mistakes than probably most people make in a lifetime. Um, but every one of those mistakes is a growth opportunity. Every one of those mistakes is a learning opportunity. Every one of those mistakes is an opportunity to step forward. The perfection gap. I need to be perfect. Well, I got news for you. Perfection is the enemy of good. It's the thing that stops you from becoming great. Trying to be perfect is an excuse. Trying to be perfect is a crutch. Trying to be perfect is something to hide behind. If you want to be good, put trying to be perfect out of your existence. The inspiration gap or the motivation gap. I don't feel like doing it. Well, I got news for you. There's a lot of things I don't feel like doing. There's other things I'd rather be doing right now. But I'm here and I'm doing this because I have a commitment. And my commitment is more important than what I like and don't like, what I want, what I don't want. If we operate that way, it's much easier develop the discipline to do the things we need to do. If we always are operating on our feelings, it makes it really hard to be effective. It makes it really hard to be great at something. Now, we want to be aware of our feelings. We all have them. We're all human. But we want to understand what's the thought that's causing you to feel that way, right? If you're not feeling motivated, what's the thought that's causing you to feel that way? And then ask yourself this question, is that thought reality or not? More times than not, it won't be reality. It'll just be what your mind is telling you. The comparison gap. I'm not doing as good as this person. I wish I was like that person. This person's doing a lot more than me. They have a lot more money than me. Um, Comparing yourself to others is the best way to slow down or stifle your growth. Putting the blinders on and focusing on only one person, the person in the mirror, is the best way to grow. So don't make the mistake of comparing yourself to others or what others are doing or not doing. If you're not satisfied, then take action, because action is the only thing that moves you forward. The expectation gap. What's our expectations? Are we expecting when we join a webinar like this that we're going to get value, that we're going to get good ideas, that I'm going to have an open mind, be an open book, and let my mind absorb these things, and I'm going to take action on them? Or are we expecting that's going to be all the stuff I already know, or I've already heard it before? What our expectations are determines how we interpret things, determines how we absorb things. So the success formula is prepare, make sure you have the right attitude, putting yourself in the place where you have the right opportunities, and then you're taking the actions. Which gap is holding you back? For some of you, it might be multiple gaps, and that's okay. We all have them. But the awareness, like I said at the very beginning, is the most important thing. And then figuring out what you need to do to start taking the actions to bridge that gap.
Schedule a 15-minute call with me. Our team may or may not be for you, but we have resources for you, or we can direct you in another direction.